Does anyone have a question? They would like to- Does anyone have a question? I guess not. I mean, I don't know. The ultimate goal of this meditation, and perhaps any form of meditation, and basically even being alive, is just, really developing a heart center that stays open and enables us to have the internal strength to be able to deal with whatever we have to deal with in life without losing that kind of deep interior blessing, which is called love. Without ever losing that and maintaining our balance. And yes, a lot of crazy and sometimes even cryptic things happen in the world, but there are tests. Can we stay open? Can we continue to be grateful for our lives? And can we have compassion for people that are going through really difficult situations? I mean, the whole purpose of the meditation that I teach is the development of one's humanity. Not hiding from the world, but opening to the world, developing the power, the strength inside oneself to live with love, to live with compassion, to be of service to God, to higher energy, in a world that is full of people that are, very difficult conditions, many people. And the stuff that goes on here can tax anybody. But the responsibility is to understand that everything that takes place is our teacher. And it's teaching us not about the objective world, it's teaching us about ourselves, what we need to do to grow, what we need to do to get more open inside, deeper inside. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? I mean, you can't hide out from life. You really can't. I mean, no matter where you run, life is there. I mean, I'll never forget years ago when I had a gallery in Manhattan. I mean, there used to be a young girl that came in all the time, and she used to wear, the whole panoply of Tibetan Buddhist. She gave up everything in the world and became a Tibetan nun. She shaved her hair. She wore that whole, purplish costume they wear and the robes. And she used to come in my gallery all the time, and we would talk about, spiritual things. And she always told me her dream was to go live in a cave somewhere in the Himalayas. And she talked about this. And one day she came in my gallery and I said, "Hey, Annie, how are you doing?" And she said, "Stuart, I found a cave in the Himalayas. I'm going there next week." So I said, "It's extraordinary. I mean, how did you do that?" And well, anyway, she went to the Himalaya. She went and lived in this cave. And it was a year and a half later, a young woman walked into my gallery just in jeans and a sweater and had long hair. And I thought I knew her. And I looked and she said, "Stuart, it's Annie." So I said to her, "What happened?" I said, what. And she went and told me this story that was really a lesson for me. She went and lived in a cave in the Himalaya mountains, total seclusion. The whole idea was to meditate and to grow closer to God. She had the people that lived in a village near this cave used to provide her with food and blessings and, sustenance so she could live. She was a sacred person, and in the cave, about 100 feet away from her, there was a sadhu who was also living in a cave. And before she came there, he was the sole, interest of the people that lived in the village. And now they had to divide their attention between the both of them. And she told me he started doing insane things like putting rats in her cave and, just crazy stuff that could hurt her and do damage to her. And somebody from the village came up to her and said, "Hey, listen, just talking to you for your own welfare, that if you don't leave this cave, this sadhu is going to do something to really hurt you." The lesson for me was you can't escape from life. You can't escape from the difficulties of life. No matter where you go in the world, there's going to be something, to complain about, something that is not quite right with life. And I remember she came in and she was dressed like a college girl. And she said, well, she went back to college and she has a boyfriend now. And she came back to the world. But the great lesson was to me, how do you escape life? Can't. I used to have another student who used to do some kind of transcendental meditation. And she would say to me, I would meditate, I would meditate, I would meditate. I felt so calm in my apartment. And then I'd step out into the street and I would completely freak out. I said, well, what were you doing in that meditation? Well, I was chanting mantras. I was, trying to get calm and peaceful. But she wasn't building a system in herself that could cross the bridge between the meditation and everything else she was doing and sustain that inner peace and inner quiet. And when I explained that to her, she looked at me and said, you're right. I never built that kind of system in myself. It was always getting kind of spaced out, quiet, peaceful, spacey. But I never built that system that allowed me to cross the bridge and to recognize that I can live in the world and I can be quiet, open, and happy in the world, no matter what's going on. I have the inner strength to do that. And that world is also a manifestation of God's energy teaching me about myself. So the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter how we hole up and try to escape and what we do. It's life. And life is there for a very singular purpose, to remind us as human beings that we have to grow and we have to it's not running away from it, it's getting strong enough to be able to maintain balance and quiet and love and openness, no matter what is going on. And you never know from minute to minute what is going to happen in one's life. And this is really the truth. Does anyone have a question they would like to? I know I talk about this a lot. Maybe you're getting tired of hearing about it, but it's something it takes years to learn, just to get through our defenses, our thickness, that part of us that wants to hide out. People hide out in ashrams, they hide out in meditation groups, they hide out all over they use everything as insulation instead of as a way of opening, so they can step across the bridge and recognize that karma also, whatever goes on in this world, is part of the learning experience that our souls come here to learn so that we can ultimately attain enlightenment. Does anyone have a question? And just to end this, most people spend their lives running away from life, trying to live in a little corner that somehow represents a little comfort, and trying to escape the totality of life. It's like my teacher Rudy said, I want to eat it's a smorgasbord. I want to eat from every dish on the table. I don't want there to be anything for me to have to come back here for. And to eat from every dish on life's table, you have to have a strength inside that is amazing. Does anyone have a question? Just to bring up another subject I've been talking about a lot. It looks like pretty much we're going to have that retreat in France from the 22nd to the 29th of July. Everyone's invited. If you have friends that want to attend this, or spiritual people, they have to know this exercise. Otherwise, it's going to get very chaotic at the retreat if everybody's doing their own form of spiritual practice. So they have to attend some classes here. They have to get the exercise. They're invited to come. I don't want to, but I just understand that people really have to be working in harmony with each other in order for the retreat to work. As I explained to you, this is kind of a miracle that's happened. It's in a chateau, about an hour from Paris, maybe just near Versailles. The people that own the chateau have given us the rooms, the place to do meditation, a kitchen, free. Free. It's free of charge. The only thing they're going to charge for is when you turn in your sheets, you have to give them 15 euros so they can clean the sheets. That's it. So it's kind of a miracle thing that has taken place, and an opportunity for all of us who are living in so many different parts of the world here to get together and, really do meditation in person and allow that thing to really nurture us and to help us to grow. If you don't know about this, you can contact Jennifer. She is coordinating the whole thing. And it looks, nothing is perfect, nothing is guaranteed, but we're getting really close to where this thing is going to happen. So if you want to attend, you're welcome. It's going to be in France at a chateau, very beautiful place, actually. You know, and 22nd to the 29th of July. All that one needs to get is a plane ticket and also to contribute towards, food. That's it. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? Okay, there'll be a class on Thursday. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. God bless you all for being here. And I thank you. See you in class on Thursday. Bless you all.
God bless you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.